Welcome to another episode of Beauty and the Priest. I'm Fiona.
And I'm Jim, and today's conversation we're going to have is how we maintain relationships even when we disagree, even respectfully or potentially even otherwise. How can we let people have their own opinions on stuff that we really disagree with? Fiona, do you want to launch us off?
Oh, that is a very, very strong and hot topic, and it is very challenging. And let's think about it in terms of when we disagree with someone's ideas or beliefs or perspectives or whatever it is, in the workplace, in the church, in the families, in the communities. And it is something that can cause a lot of conflict and tension and cause a lot of fights, even in your personal relationships. And I think the one thing that we have to be aware of is our unconscious and conscious biases and beliefs ourselves, and be aware that I have my internal reference system, which is made up by my values, my beliefs, my experiences, and even, other attributes like my personality. So if I'm triggered by something that somebody's saying, it's not necessarily because they're wrong, but they're different. But then when my ego kicks in with my values and says, oh, no, you didn't, then that's where the conflict comes from. So, yeah.
Now, I think especially if it's something that we really identify with, if you're attacking something, or if your idea is so much of an antithesis of what I am, then it really triggers and really gets me.
Yeah.
I can also give an example of from my own past of a time where facts were something that I thought, this is insane. This person is saying something to me that I know is absolutely wrong, but because they're more popular, the other people around here are all believing it. This person in particular had said to me, this was in an ancient time known as the 90s. They had said to me that we were talking about the day, and I said, oh, look, the clouds are moving really fast today. And they said, oh, the clouds don't move. The earth turns. The clouds stay there. And I said, are you serious? The clouds move. No. The earth spins. And then sort of gathered other people around them, and they said, well, blah, 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 because they were popular. I'm thinking, I can't win this argument.
Cool.
This person has such an idea that it's not even, I don't find it personally offensive. All I am is marveling at the ideology of somebody who thinks that's the truth. That it can't possibly be the truth.
Well, that's a whole nother thing. So that's like, what do you do when it's a fact thing, and what do you do when it's a belief thing? And the answer is you do the same thing. Like the response, it all boils down. You punch them in the face?
Is that what you're saying?
What's that?
You punch them in the face.
Yes, this is the thing. We had that. Yeah, no, we don't do that. Like we maybe think about doing that, but we don't actually do it. Okay. And the trick is to be aware of, and this is self-awareness and emotional regulation. It's being aware of what is it that's triggered you and why. And then that's the self-awareness part. The self-regulation is, I can now choose how I'm going to respond to this. And I use two words, I'll do it that way. I use two words, kindness and respect.
Sure.
How can I kindly and respectfully respond to this person who should be punched? No one should ever be punched in the face. But still maintaining your own beliefs, identity, integrity, and all of that at the same time. But the biggest thing that gets in the way is our ego, and that's I can take it right back to a conversation. It was actually via email that I had sent, and the response from my friend's partner, because I was sending a thing about Easter and church, and the response from my friend's partner, because they shared an email, was, how do you send Bible bashing, blah 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 blah, scathing email that just cut me right down from across, and I'm like, right. And then my ego jumped out and went, I'll show you. Oh, how dare you. I wanted to put that person right back in their box. And I stopped and went, how will this benefit the relationship between me and the other person that I was actually sending the thing to? how does this make, how's this going to make me feel if I respond this way? Why do I need to put this person back in their box? Is it my job? And so I had this little emotional self-control, emotional awareness, you know, what was triggering me, and really would it benefit either of us if I did that? And so I decided to go with the higher ground and said, oh, really sorry, I didn't mean to offend. I just wanted to share with blah, blah, the information about something that I thought she would be interested in. But, you know, definitely didn't want to offend you. That was not my intention. And the response I got back was very different to the one that I would have got back if I had have dived in with my, who do you think you are? It was very kind and respectful back, but it was literally just my ego that jumped in, my beliefs that were attacked, my values that were attacked. And that's what creates that emotional response. And for you watching, there's nothing wrong with your emotional responses to anything. It's what we do with those. It's how we act out those emotional responses that can be helpful or harmful. So yeah, that's just a
I think that's really good. I think one of the things in that space, of course, is that we don't have to act on the emotion. You can feel the emotion, but it is within your control to not do something or do something that is your responsibility. They are your emotions after all. So I think it's really important to
absolutely. But also, it doesn't mean that you have to lie down and just take it as well. Like, you can still respectfully put across your difference of ideas as well. And it's a situation by situation scenario. Like in that situation, there was absolutely no point. It's like you do that evaluation. There is no point me explaining my values and why they're valid and all that sort of stuff. It had no part in that. But there are times, like in our workplaces and in our families, if it's causing conflict, that we don't have to necessarily just lay down and let them win. But it is a matter of respectfully stating your side of it as well, and say, look, I get that that's how you feel about it, or I get that you're angry about it, but I believe this, and it doesn't mean, you know, one of us is right or wrong. Unless it is in fact the clouds do not move, and then you are wrong. But just, it's okay for you to have your opinion, but I'm going to respect your opinion. I'd really like you to respect mine, and let's just know that we have differences.
Unfortunately, I think sometimes people will look at it as a competition. Like, I've got to win that argument.
That's
whereas that's actually more of a problem than anything else. Even if you think that you know, I'm sorry you feel that way or whatever else, then feel that you're getting the moral high ground because you know you're right. It's still not going to necessarily be the best space to be in. You can go away thinking and then tell the next 20 people you meet about this argument that you just had, but you took them higher moral ground because you didn't engage and just left them in their stupidity or whatever else. It's not helpful, especially if it's a family gathering or your sister's boyfriend or your Uncle Frank, who you only see once a year, and he just has these whiz-bang crazy ideas about stuff, and he just likes to provoke people. The idea that should be there, that we should be able to maintain integrity of our relationships and unity while still being able to respectfully disagree. I think there's no reason why that can't happen. It's just, it seems to me over the last, say, 20 years that seems to be more and more to be a place where people think like we really should tribalize. It's we should have our ground here of where we are right, and all those people over here, they're all wrong. So we should just be able to throw stones at them. That's
absolutely.
The opposite of that's the opposite of society. That's of course, there needs to be laws and regulations in place to make sure that there are common beliefs that do need to be maintained, like the sanctity of life. But we should be able to disagree respectfully.
Respectfully, exactly right. I totally agree. And the thing is that we just need to be aware, and it is about taking ownership of our feelings and what is causing that. And nine times out of 10, you're going to find your ego playing a very big part of that that emotion, and asking yourself, do I need to be right? And if I do need to be right, maybe this is just a bit narcissistic or my ego or whatever that needs to be right, where it's actually, it's more about the conversation that you're having with yourself and what you are believing in yourself and your own confidence in, I actually don't need anybody else's validation. I don't need anybody else to approve of me or what I believe or what I think. But so I'm quite happy to let you have your own opinion without telling you you're wrong. But you've got to do the work on yourself first, because I definitely had to, that particular incident that caused me to stop and go, what is this really about? And do you really need to have this reaction? Led to doing a lot of work, catching my ego in certain different places that I wasn't aware that it was playing, rearing its ugly head. And don't get me wrong, your ego is very necessary for other reasons, but when it starts to make you behave in a way that is better than anybody else, or that is more right than anybody else, or is more valid than anybody else, then we need to start doing some work on it. And that's usually in our confidence and our own self-belief that says, I'm actually okay with myself and don't need your validation or approval.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean, that's vital to be able to have that. And it doesn't even really matter which sort of arena that you want to talk about in that space. We still do need to be a part of a respectful society, a society that works. We do need to have that idea that it used to be that I might disagree with your opinions, but I will fight to the death for your right to have them. And that's something we seem to have lost a lot of ground on. So that's really quite sad. We should be able to do that. And it even obviously in my role, people will see me with different people and think, oh wow, what's going on with that? Why is Jim hanging out with a Muslim or whatever else? And you think, well, why wouldn't I?
Why not? It's a human being,
we
right?
barrack for the same football team, why wouldn't we? or whatever else is going on. We both like ice cream. I mean, we concentrate on similarities. And we speak in spaces that are common to us all. And that's the thing we really should be focusing on more than anything else.
I think that's a really, really good point, is to just shift the focus on where we're different and shift the focus to where we can connect and what we have in common and how we can build rapport. And some people you just will not connect with, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in all cases, treat them with kindness and respect. And I actually had someone in my training, because this is the stuff that I do in training with communication and relationship building. And I was talking about the kindness and respect thing, even when we have differences or we don't agree with what somebody said. And somebody said, well, what if they don't deserve my respect? I'm like, that's a very good point. That's a very different thing though. Like there are certain people that you don't have to respect them or what they do, but you still have to treat them with respect. There's a difference between respecting someone and treating them with respect. You can't force somebody to respect someone who has, done something that is just completely immoral or illegal, or something that goes against every fiber of human rights, right? But still they deserve to be treated with respect as a human being. And to your point, it is focusing on where we are. Like, the thing that makes us all on common ground is the fact that we're all human beings created by God. And the baseline of the final commandment that Jesus left us with was love one another as I have loved you. And that is unconditional, as you are, without bias or without, expectations, but just loving each other. And that's what leads to kindness and respect.
And I think sometimes people can get caught up in the idea of respect being like deference. Like a higher rank in the military, for argument's sake. I've got to defer to that person. Well, yes, you do, because it's part of your job description. Whether you like them or not is totally immaterial. You must respect that authority. It's quite similar to the police in a lot of respects. Pardon the pun. If the police are to the point of they're telling you need to do this or you need to do that, you kind of need to do it, because the alternatives are not going to be very pleasant. But
And that's
we've got
like,
to be careful where we give over that authority, though.
yeah.
It's an
So
important
then
point.
as you're saying that, I'm sort of seeing the respect that is then the word respect that can be interpreted in those different ways, like respect as a what's the word? Like you're saying with authority and things like that, which is more of a I'm
Giving over
losing.
some of your own authority over to them.
Yes, yeah, and respect as in treating them
General,
with equality and
yeah,
equity.
equality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's right. And I think that's the difference. I mean, sometimes we can get caught up in those things. It's
the
the same
titles.
word, but it has
Yeah,
very different
yeah.
implications.
Just
So yeah,
be
because
kind to people. We can just boil it
that's
down to
right.
be kind to people.
Because often people will say, like when it comes to management or leadership, respect has to be earned.
Yeah,
And you think, well, no, not really. Respect
yeah.
should be generally
Just
there.
just up
Um,
front, like straight
yeah,
up. Yeah,
it
it's like
should be there
guilty
anyway. I
until
mean,
proven innocent, right?
that's right. That's right. But you don't necessarily need to absolutely to defer to that person's uh, ideas because they are superior to yours. Well,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
that's a totally different type of respect we're talking about.
Yeah, definitely. And it really does, like, to boil it back down to being able to not think the same way as somebody else or believe in the same things as somebody else, but still be able to coexist kindly and respectfully and allow that. And I don't even like the word allow because it implies that they're doing the wrong thing and you're letting them. No, to embrace, I guess, the differences of other people and let go of the notion that your ways are right, but that they might just be right to you, and that's okay. And there's certain things that, of course, there's very clear lines between right and wrong, but when it comes to beliefs and expectations, a lot of people don't realize that the way your brain functions is because of your personality type. So you think differently, you learn differently, you behave differently, you communicate differently, and somebody else is not going to. And judging them by your measure is like judging a fish by its ability to climb a tree, right? It doesn't have the same attributes and functions as a lizard, right?
Yeah.
I know that's really a mixed analogy, but it is, we need to just first work on ourselves. And to be honest, the way I treat myself is going to come out on the way I treat other people. If I'm really harsh on myself, if I've got a lack of self-esteem or self-worth, I'm then going to reflect that very likely when I am feeling at my most vulnerable as well.
Yeah.
If I'm critical of myself, I'm going to be critical of others. So really accepting that you are different is the first thing, the first rule of engagement. Know that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and you are made with a completely different set of attributes, values, experiences, personality type, all of those other different things that make you unique creation. To love and accept those, only then can you start to love and accept the differences in others, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely true. It's vital that we keep on reminding ourselves, because it seems like society, culture, even social media likes to remind us that no, that person doesn't do that, or this group disagrees with this, so this is why we've got to hate them, which is effectively just bullying. That's all it is. We really can call it what it is. That's what
absolutely it is.
If it was in a schoolyard or a workplace, we'd be going, hey, hang on a second.
That's not okay.
I know you might believe that, but gathering a whole lot of other people to just, shun the
Yeah.
unbeliever type of thing, that's just wrong.
And we
It's just
know
completely wrong.
bullies, right? We know that hurt people hurt people.
True.
So the bullies are the ones that have got the most pain and need an outlet for it, but don't know how to emotionally regulate that outlet. And it's what's going on internally as well. So I think we should be kind and respectful even to bullies, but that's where also setting boundaries for ourselves. Just because somebody is badly behaved doesn't mean you should take it.
No.
So learning how to set boundaries, if somebody, like in this situation that we're talking about, when we're having disagreements because we don't have the same belief, because you're Labor and you're Liberal, or you're Christian and you're Muslim, or you're whatever all the differences are, is if we if that becomes attacking, then we need to set the boundaries around going, you know what, that behavior is not, your beliefs are okay, but your behavior is not. And so I will not accept being spoken to like that. So either I'm going to walk away or we're going to calm this farm down. So there's a lot of things that weave into that. How do we have respectful disagreements? And so to recap some of the main points that we've made, we can think differently to others. Absolutely. We do think differently to others. It's about understanding what is driving our bias and our reaction to what they're saying. Understanding, is it ego? Is it our values? Is it experiences? Is it a trigger of something that's happened in my past? Do I need to respond? Do I need to win? Do I need to be right? Do I need to put them back in their box? What will it achieve? Is this going to be helpful or harmful? Or do I just, and sometimes you can look at a person and go, it doesn't matter what I say to you, there's going to be no getting through to you. So I'm like, I'm going to save my energy for my next conversation with somebody else and just go, that's really interesting.
Yes, that's it.
And not even engage. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, but overall, I think the idea of maintaining an air of kindness in the first place, I think that's one of the really key elements of society.
Yeah.
If we can have that general respect.
Yeah.
Really
and that's, if we boil it back down to also that commandment, love one another as I have loved you. And that is really simple. What he said is really simple. Not simple to do, but the concept is simple. It is unconditionally, without expectations, without bias, just as you are. Let's love each other, and love, can be put in different ways. It's being kind to each other, it's accepting each other, it's encouraging each other and allowing each other. And again, I don't like that word, but you're getting what I mean. Just coexisting in our own spaces as a community, with the one commonality that we have is that we are all children of God, created by God. So when I start mouthing off at you, I'm attacking one of God's children. And if I can use that as a reference point, if I could visualize God looking down on me going, seriously, Fiona, is that what you're doing to my child? Whether we're thinking something bad about our partner because they haven't done the dishes, or because someone at work has not finished their project on time, or whether somebody voted Labor or Liberal, or somebody believes in this religion or that religion. It's like, think about God going, what do you reckon he thinks about this situation? That might be a really good reference point to use and go, how would he want me to respond to this?
That's good.
Yeah, cool.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed this topic. This is one of the several we're doing on Beauty and the Priest. Guess which one I am.
Yes,
and
here's the beauty. I'm actually an ordained priest. Here's the beauty. It's been the beauty all along.
Who would have thought? What gives it away?
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us for another episode. We will look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.